of International Relations and Cooperation. For more reaction, we are now joined by FF Plus leader Peter Groenewald. He's joining us on the line. A very good afternoon to you, sir. At a time like this, I suppose there are no political foes or political sort of opponents, and really it is a time of, I suppose, great sadness and feeling for even those you would generally be opposing with. What is your message this afternoon?
Well, you're quite right, but firstly I want to express on behalf of the Freedom Front Plus our sincere sympathy towards the loved ones and the family of the late Mr. Jackson Mthembu. And you're also correct to say that although we are from different political parties, there's one outstanding feature of Mr. Jackson Mthembu, and that was that it doesn't matter whether he had different political views, he always treated me and my colleagues with friendliness and with respect. So there was always mutual respect. Of course, I also want to express my sympathy towards the ANC as a political organization. They've lost a stalwart and a very hard worker in the ANC. The fact that Mr. Jackson Mthembu was also a victim of an armed robbery where he was shot several times. He survived that. He recovered. And I think where many other people would have retired from politics, Jackson Mthembu came back and he did his work very well. He was also chief whip of the ANC. And I must admit that during his time, there was quite order and a good organization under his leadership as the chief whip in Parliament. So it is a loss for the ANC, and it is also a loss for the government of South Africa as far as the pass away of Mr. Jackson Mthembu.
I mean, Mr. Groenewald, there might have been perhaps some sort of view or maybe perception that certain people can't be touched by the coronavirus. And I just heard the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, Jesse Duarte, saying that, you know, COVID-19 has no respect for anybody. I mean, we see now it has taken the life of a minister in the presidency. What do you have to say in terms of this virus and the treatment of this virus and how really we have been treating the virus here in South Africa? What are your views, and particularly as we await the vaccine? I mean, it's very clear at this point that nobody is immune. Nobody it can really affect anybody. What are your views in terms of how really the reaction we've had over the past year in dealing with COVID-19?
Well, firstly, I want to say, and I said it previously, and I am on record on that, we must realize that the COVID-19 virus is a reality. There are some people that think it's not real. I personally lost some friends due of COVID-19, luckily not family yet, and therefore it's a reality. Yes, of course, we must comply and see which ways we can follow to ensure that we do not spread the virus any further. But I also want to say that the Freedom Front Plus was always clear on the matter to say, yes, we must have a health protocols, and the people must adhere to that. It's no use to say that, listen, I'm not going to wear a mask, I'm not going to have social distance. That is important. As far as the vaccine is concerned, of course, it is free choose or freedom to choose if people want the vaccine or not. I'm disappointed in the government. It is quite clear that they did not do their best to ensure that South Africa get some vaccines in time, but it will be on the will of each and every individual whether they want the vaccine or not. But I mean, the ANC government, with great respect, they want to save lives, but they didn't do their job properly. Therefore, they must urgently ensure that South Africa gets some vaccines so that those people who want the vaccine, that they can get it as soon as possible so that we can win the fight against the COVID-19 virus.
As we close off our conversation, I mean, you briefly mentioned that, you know, you'll remember that Mr. Mthembu was always friendly to you and your comrades. But personally, how do you think you will remember him as you reflect on his life, Mr. Groenewald?
I will remember him as a friendly person with respect towards other people. I will remember him as a person that you may differ from a political perspective, but the way it should be is in a respectful manner. And I will always remember him as a hard worker who was really enthusiastic towards his work, and he wanted to give his best, not only for himself and his organization, but also for South Africa.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much for giving us your reaction this afternoon, and that of the FF Plus. That's Peter Groenewald there speaking and sharing his sincere sympathies on the passing of the Minister in the Presidency, Jackson Mthembu. All right. Let's take a short break. More news after this.